Unfortunately, while I was doing my research, I just came to the conclusion that now Brazil not only has a convicted felon for political corruption as president, Ignacio Lula da Silva, but now has a totalitarian operator as the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court called Alexandre de Moraes. Wow. Thank you. I mean, there's nothing to celebrate. Poor Brazilians, they deserve a lot better.
The most important country, saying it, finally.
The most important country in the, economically speaking, or the largest economy in the Western Hemisphere, I mean, South America, I should say, to be more precise, it deserves better. So, having said this, Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, has become a target to the highest court because he shoots back. And that's the way you do it in a democracy. Really, we do not know if the Supreme Justice, Mr. de Moraes, is a socialist, or he's a useful fool, or he's a useful idiot for the socialists. But we do know that he is curtailing the most fundamental right that any democracy, including the Brazilians, have, which is free speech. And I really do not understand why. So that's why. Thank you very much, Mr. Schellenberger, for being here with us. And I do want you to explain to us, why do you think that Elon Musk and Twitter is in the crosshairs of this gentleman?
I think the short answer is that X and Mr. Musk just grew fed up with all the illegitimate, unconstitutional, and illegal requests for censorship. It's such a radical demand. In one case, we know that G. Moraes was demanding that X deplatform a sitting member of Congress for content that he had posted on different social media platforms. This is completely absurd and outrageous. All of the claims, all of the major claims that the Brazilian government has made against Musk and including against me are disinformation themselves, including the idea that somehow this is a money play by Musk. The first thing that he said was, we're probably going to lose all of our financial business there and we may go bankrupt. Well, a few days later, the Brazilian government halted all advertising on X. In fact, when I was in Brazil, I was still seeing Brazilian government.
So for what you're telling me, I understand that then the president of the country and the Chief Justice are in cahoots. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what it appears to be the case.
Do we have any proof of that?
Well, we do know that, yes, we saw media reports while this controversy was going on that G. Moraes had been meeting with Lula and his advisors and coordinating some sort of a response.
But G. Moraes was there before Lula was elected once again?
Yes.
So do you know if they had a previous relationship as friends in previous governments? I mean, what is known about his motives? Who does he work for?
Well, the latter question is a very interesting question, but we definitely know that they reconciled their relationship once Lula was elected president and came to power.
Reconciled? Why? They had some arguments before.
Disagreement, yes. And that reconciled, and and then we saw in response to Elon Musk's standing up for free speech in Brazil, we saw G. Moraes go to Lula and spend time with Lula and his advisors, making the case that they needed to continue to fight for more censorship.
And why do you think that Twitter in particular has caused such an irritation?
I just think it's because Musk has got enough resources to be able to stand up to the Brazilian government. It's not easy and I don't think other platform CEOs, besides Rumble and X, have shown the courage. I mean, I think we're not naming the names here, but Google, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, these platforms are allowing the censorship to continue.
And I commend Elon Musk for doing that. Very good. That's exactly what he needs to do, not only in Brazil, but he needs to create the Brazilian model as an example that someone that has...
Yeah.
He needs to create an example, not only for Brazil, but for the United States and for the rest of the hemisphere, that you do not mess with free speech across the board.